Hello, people. This is Survive Unplugged. This is about surviving unplugged. Unplugged from what? Well, whatever you need to unplug from, quite honestly. Apologize for the lighting. I'm not a camera person, I'm not a technical kind of a person. I actually had a camera about a year ago that I planned on doing this on, but then I can't find it. So now I'm using a cell phone that I don't do anything on but call or text. Uh, and so the technology, I'm a little bit technologically deficient. In any event, surviving unplugged. Just to give you a little bit of a background, I've participated in a few of the institutions in America. Grew up in the ghetto, LA, around LA, Watts, South Central, that kind of a thing. 4 years in the Marine Corps, worked my way through college, got a degree from USC. Uh, then I went and worked for what was at the time they called it the Big Six. These were the six largest accounting firms in the world. At the time, I worked for what was the largest one in the downtown LA office, and stayed there for about 5 years. Anyway, left there, went to a local firm, worked there, managed their audit practice, did some consulting for other CPAs, and eventually started my own firm, auditing. I did tax returns, but I didn't really much care to do that. So I did pretty much financial statement auditing and small business consulting. Um, so that's just a little bit about my background, some of the institutions that I've participated in here in America. And now I find myself at 51 trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to go? What's the rest of my life going to look like? And I've made a decision that I don't want to participate in these systems anymore. I've come to the conclusion that everything that I'm seeing that's presented, most things that I'm seeing that are presented as good, are actually probably not so good. And if you're one of those people that see these things, then stick around. How I came up with the unplugged thing, I was in with my cousin, one of my cousins, and we were driving, and I had been kind of checked out for maybe a year or so. And I asked him, I says, what do you think is wrong with me? And he says, you've unplugged. I've unplugged. Yeah. None of the stuff that you're just not participating in any of this anymore. You've unplugged. Yeah, man, you've unplugged from the Matrix. Well, I've seen the movie and I fell asleep on it. It was a little bit too abstract for me. But maybe I did. So I gave that some thought for some time. And I do believe that maybe he has a point. Maybe I have unplugged. However, I've got to figure out a way to survive, develop a means of making a living. And I mean, you got to be plugged in to be a CPA. I had to have a license, my own personal license. The firm had to be licensed. CPE, I mean, it's a very regulated industry. And so, do I really want to go back into that? That's my question. Not necessarily. I'd prefer, be honest with you, I'd prefer maybe making furniture. I saw a guy on YouTube, he does like handcrafted furniture. I mean, give you something you can use. In any event, how to survive unplugged. There are a lot of people, I mean, I spent some time out here on YouTube for about the last year, and it's some interesting things out here. And I've learned a lot, to be honest with you. But you also have to be careful because, there's a lot of, we used to say when I was a kid, one of the fish that we eat was red snapper. And they used to always say, be careful of the bones. So you got to be careful of the bones. Make sure you don't choke, spit them out. In any event, I'm going to do this in one take, so I'm going to stumble. This is the first time I've ever done anything like that. I got my little box set up. I put the camera on a box and I put a bunch of books to hold the thing in place. So, and the lighting's all wrong. This is totally unprofessional. And so I'm going to just do it this way. A little bit intimidated also about having my face on camera, about a bunch of people looking at me. So I'm a bit self-conscious. So if I come off a little unnatural, that's the reason. Anyway, I don't know where this finds you. I hope it finds you in good spirits. In any event, if you are one one of those people, and I believe it's probably the minority, that see what's going on around, see, I mean, check this out. This is the age we live in, where we can take all of the worst things about our lives. I mean, just the most disgusting things. Parents suing children, children suing parents. Who's your baby's daddy? I mean, all of this becomes entertainment now. I mean, they're literally marketing this stuff. I think Jerry Springer, and I mean, I guess, he's built an empire behind that. And it really is kind of disturbing because this is what we're being fed as, in essence, almost normal. But in any event, that's it. And if you're into the survivalist thing, you have to understand as an ex-Marine, I'm, I stock food and water. I keep my guns and my Bible close. So from that aspect, I do maintain a little bit of a survivalist mentality. I exercise because I need to know how far I can run, how much I can carry. And I walk because I need to know how far I can walk, how many miles can I get out of these 51-year-old legs of mine. And I know I've got 30. I'm pretty sure I've got 50 miles on any given day. After that, I'm not so sure. So if you don't know how many miles you can walk, maybe it's not important to you. But that's the survivorist component of me. This homesteading thing that I've been looking at. When I was 15 years old, my dream was to own acres upon acres of land in Montana and build my house out of the wood on my land. Build it with my own hands. That was my dream. Why Montana? Well, because I was from the ghetto and I watched the Westerns, and the only place that I knew where there were acres and acres of land is way out there. I don't know. I didn't know anything. So Montana came to mind, and I never made it. I just got life happen. And I just found out what I'm doing. You do one thing, then you do another thing, then you do another thing. Next thing you know, you work for the post office. You're retiring. That was never the dream, but nonetheless, that's where you find yourself. So now I'm beginning to see the necessity of charting a different kind of a course, building it on a different foundation. Just from a personal standpoint, I'm Bible. I don't consider myself, nor have ever considered myself a Christian per se, just Bible. I tried to, I guess what I would call convert, and twice in two different churches, and it didn't take. But I believe that book from beginning to end. It's just that I'm finding it difficult to find other people to just do the book and the book only. A lot of times they want to introduce other things. So I'm just Bible. No, not a minister. I don't have any authorization to teach or anything like that. But just that's kind of that's where I'm coming from. That's what's important to me. So I want to build it on a foundation, and I do want to maintain a degree of separation. Some people think that they can be independent, and there's really no such thing as being independent. What you have to look toward is to be interdependent. So you've got to find someone else with whom you have a common belief, and then you can count on them. I may be rambling a little bit, but this is all going to this unplugged thing, because once you do, and I got me some visual aids, by the way. Look at this. Do this real quick. This right here plugs into a wall. This other end, they go into whatever the machine is that you're plugging into. This is the source of power comes through here. Once you plug this thing into the wall, that's where you're getting your power. A lot of us in America in particular, we're getting our power from the financial institutions, from jobs, from all of these things that they're telling us. are necessary. But can you survive if you unplug? How do you survive if you unplug? They'll even give you some options too. I mean, like, you put this in one socket, and then you can get yourself one of these. See my visual aid? One of these. This thing is filthy. I got this out of the garage. It's filthy. But they'll tell you, you have a choice of what to plug into. You get to plug into any one of these. But this part is still plugged into the wall. When I was in the Corps, they warned us when we go to different countries, be careful of the amps, I think it is, when you plug in, because if you don't plug into the right amp, it's going to jack your equipment up. That's what they told me. And so I've been, you got to be conscious. Those of you who've traveled overseas, you understand that concept. In America, everything's kind of geared toward that one amp, whatever. It's 2 or 3, but you get the point. Black people, we're not doing so well in this country. We're not. As a people, we are, it appears to me, deteriorating and fast. And everything that I see on TV, everything that's presented tells me everything's okay. You guys are doing okay. What if as black people, we're connected to this power source, and this power source that we're connected into isn't designed for us? What if it's not designed for us, but we're connected into the wrong amps? It's going to mess up our whole wiring. I'm a simple man. People try to, oh, well, you graduated from college and you're a CPA, you should be smart enough. That when I'm an auditor, I'm an auditor. When I'm a CPA, and I know what I'm doing. I'm an expert at what I do. But other things, not so much. I tend to want to approach things very simply. So, just a simple analogy. What if we're connected to the wrong power source and our equipment is being short-circuited and burned out because this is the wrong, maybe it's too many amps, whatever the reason? As long as we're plugged in, it's going to destroy us. That's what I think. I mean, that's just my opinion. You get to have your opinion. I get to have mine. So as a black man in America, it's important, it has become important for me to obtain a greater degree of independence from the institutions and the systems that are put in front of me. It's like, where's that, my little thing? Do I want to be plugged into that thing? So that's where I'm going. But at the same time, you've got to learn how to survive. We have responsibilities, families, children, those kinds of things. So we've got to come to a place. I've got to come to a place. You get to do whatever you want to do. I've got to figure out how I maintain my disconnectedness or unpluggedness, if you will, and continue to make a living. That's why it's Survive Unplugged. Because to be honest, I really don't want to immerse myself and derive my derive my ability from that system, from the systems here. That's the best way. Like I said, this is a little rough around the edges. First time I'm doing this, and I decided to just, I don't know how people script things, but I'm not going to script anything. Anyway, if you stuck through that, and if this at all interests you, it doesn't matter. If you're one of those, I got to get out of the matrix guys. If you're one of those, boy, I just got stuck with, $100,000 of student loans and I can't get a job, you're plugged in. If you are looking around and your kid looks at you and looks up at you. Daddy, what is this? What's in this? I don't know. Just eat it. Because a lot of times we don't. If your kid just looked at you and asked you, Daddy, what is it? What's in this? I don't know. Just eat it. Um, but I think we're doing a lot of that as human beings. And I think it's particularly detrimental for black people to do it. So, we just don't have a lot of rope here. you but it's not a black or a white thing, really. It's a human being thing, because I'm looking, and I've made this statement to a few of my older white clients, and I asked them, are you aware that you guys have begun eating yourselves? And I've not found one that disagreed with me, that, white people are at the point of committing cannibalism. They're now consuming each other, or this system is consuming you. If you disagree, disagree. But that's just my opinion. So, in any event, like I said, I hope this finds you in good spirits. Don't be dismayed, alarmed, or frightened. Just begin to take good care. Just begin to do what you can to obtain a degree of separation, and begin to think for yourself. Somebody hands you something, ask yourself what's in it. If somebody tells you something, ask them what's the source of your information. I've seen guys that do YouTube videos. I've seen at least two. And I found the source of their information. It's a Google article. And they do a YouTube video. And I was able to locate the actual article. And they pretty much went point by point in their video presentation. But they present themselves as an authority. When it comes to generally accepted accounting principles and generally accepted auditing standards, I am an authority. I am an authority on that. I am an expert. I actually consult with other CPAs. I manage their quality control within their practice. So that I'm an expert on. The other things, maybe not so much. So I'm careful. I can tell you this is my opinion. In any event, don't be frightened. Just be careful what you listen to, what you take in. Me, I run everything by my book, my Bible. It just, I try to check everything that a person says against that, and to determine whether or not they're telling me the truth. I would recommend, if you got a different book, your book works, keep your book. I'm not here to convert or change anyone's mind about anything. But what I am here to do is tell you, you're not alone. And there are more people out there like us than you know. I've run into some brothers, and it's been a long time. And they're aware. And we have occasion to sit down and talk. And it maybe the light is being shined on some of this. But in any event, you take good care, and until next time.